Great. Hello?
Wait till the recording started.
It started.
Okay.
Hello and welcome to Leaders Worldwide Toastmasters Club. It is a wonderful morning, and I am Sally Reyes, your group Toastmasters Sergeant at Arms, and I would like you all to disconnect your phones, please, or turn them off so we won't have any interruptions. Thank you, and please help me welcome our President, Assistant Division D Director, Master Toastmaster, and Intuitive and Guardian Angel. Thank you. We welcome Cynthia Stott.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for that great welcome. Awesome. I am so excited to be here today. We have an awesome meeting today. I didn't turn off my phone, so make sure you all have your phones turned off. I just got a ding coming in. Today, we have a special day. But first, I want to say, to send out prayers and loving thoughts to all of India. I know that it's been a very tragic situation there with COVID. And one of our guests here is from India. Our heart goes out to you and your family and your loved ones. And also to Swarna, our beloved Swarna, who is a member of our VPPR team. She lost her brother-in-law and 3 or 4 close relatives and friends. And we just want to send our loving thoughts to her. She can't make it because it's the middle of her day. And Deanna McEnroy says that her father also passed away from COVID here in the States. So it's still just such a tragic loss. And our hearts just go out to all that are affected. And please be safe. I'm glad we're meeting on Zoom and we're safe and we can see each other and stay safe and healthy. Great. So I want to welcome everyone to the call, but especially our guests. And Gayatri, is that how you say your name? Did I say it correctly?
Yes, Gayatri.
Gayatri. Okay, great. Do you want to say who you are and why you're here?
I am a meditation instructor by profession. I'm a Toastmaster from India, and I am attending this particular meeting because I'm here to witness my very dear friend Victor perform the role of Toastmaster of the Day. I'm really very curious about that.
Oh, awesome. I'm so glad. Victor is an amazing member. I just really appreciate him. And yes, he's going to be the Toastmaster for the first time today. So very, very excited. Well, welcome, Gayatri.
Thank you.
Great. You're welcome. And Andrea, you are a recurring guest. You're in our speechcraft room because you're a member of Heart to Heart. But if you could introduce everyone to who you are and why you're here.
Hi, everyone. I just enjoyed this group so much. When I was here last week, I had to come back. I am a fundraiser and an integrative nutrition health coach, and sort of fused those two things together and created a podcast called Living for Purpose. And so I'm here at Toastmasters, just learning to share my message in a more effective way.
Great. I didn't know you were a podcaster. That's wonderful. We have a lot of podcasters here at Leaders Worldwide. So your podcast is called Leading with Purpose?
It's Living for Purpose with Andrea Bell.
Living for Purpose with Andrea Bell. Thank you. And who else do we have as a guest? We have Frederica. Yes, another recurring guest. Was I at your district conference on Saturday?
Yes, you did a very good job.
great. Welcome back. So you want to introduce yourself?
So I'm Frederick Alexander Duran from the lovely island of the Commonwealth of Dominica. I'm a Toastmaster at heart, and I do enjoy your meetings, the energy, so I'm always here. I'm a consultant, so it's easy for me to join in at any time. I work from home at this point.
Great, great. Well, welcome, welcome.
Thanks for having me. All right.
And Deanna, did you want to say hi to everybody? You're one of our guests, the recurring guests, and you're going to be a timer in our breakout room. Yay! Hi, Deanna. Great. And it sounds like Patricia should be coming in because was in the waiting room, she said. Okay, I think, is that all of our guests, Linda?
As far as I can tell, yes, that is all that we have.
Okay, great. And did Patricia get in here?
I put her in and she seems to have disappeared and now she's not in the waiting room.
The magic of Zoom.
There we
I
go.
tell you, there she comes. Okay, good. Great. And then Carrie's our member, but she will be our guest speaker today. I'm so excited. So without further ado, I want to turn it over to our wonderful Toastmaster of the day, Victor Irving Jenkins.
Greetings, greetings. Hello, hello. And often I'm asked to turn it down, and I always reply with turn down for what? But I will turn it down a little bit today because I'm only the Toastmaster of this wonderful meeting that we're having. And I'm going to tell you what the theme of the meeting is. And the theme can be seen on the agenda. I want to focus attention on the agenda because the agenda tells you what is supposed to happen and when it's supposed to happen. It's not engraved in stone, but every Toastmaster meeting, in an effort to help us conduct better meetings, has an agenda. And I really like this agenda that we have today because it is the textbook agenda from Easy Speak, and a resource that I am totally in love with, and I dream about it at night. But the agenda only gives me a minute, so I can't talk to you much longer, but keep in mind that much of child abuse occur as a result of adults not taking care of themselves. So I want to encourage you to get really good at self-care, get really good at coping with your ups and downs in life, because a lot of times adults are abusing children, they don't even know that they're doing it. But if you're looking after yourself, if you're paying attention to your ups and downs, chances are you will never be in the population of people that abuse children. So welcome to Child Prevention Month here at Leaders Worldwide. The very next thing on the agenda is for me to introduce to you the general evaluator who's got their own brand of what this meeting means. So help me welcome the general evaluator, none other than Talha bin Hamid. And if I said that wrong, we expect you to correct us right now. Give it up for Talha.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you for the warm welcome. And okay, you asked me to correct, therefore I'm correcting. It's Talha bin Hamid and not Hamid. So other than that, you were bang on. So today, as you all learned, we have a wonderful meeting in store for us. And right now, my job is to explain the journal evaluator role. So the journal evaluator evaluates everything that happens in a meeting, and they also host the journal evaluation session. So they take over from Toastmaster of the day and they host the journal evaluation session. Evaluation is my favorite part of a Toastmasters meeting, and I sincerely believe that this is what sets Toastmaster apart from every other education discipline around the world. Trust me, for those of you who are new here, you won't find any evaluation like Toastmasters evaluation, and that's a promise. So today, we will have wonderful facilitators to facilitate our meeting. The first one is, of course, the all-important timer. And the timer is Isaac Ford. So, sir, please describe your role. Isaac, you're on mute.
Oh, yes. Hi. I'm going to be the timer for today. And we're going to have 3 sections. The first would be the prepared speaker. An example, if the speaker speech was from 5 to 7, at 5 minutes, I would show the green. At 6 minutes, the yellow, and at 7 minutes, the red. And then it will have 15 seconds to finish up. Well, actually, speakers 30 seconds to finish up. And I will do that for each section, the evaluation and the table topics, just to make sure that the meeting stays on time. Back to you, Toastmaster, General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Isaac, and good luck with the exciting role of timer. Next, we have our grammarian and word master of the day, Sally Elizabeth Race. Toastmaster Sally, please explain your role.
Thank you. Well, my role is for the word of the day, which is resilience. And it is the ability to withstand and bounce back from difficulties in life events, which is appropriate for our theme of the month. I also am evaluating the repeated words that do not particularly involved in your speech, which ands, a's, buts, so's, unusual words that didn't make sense. And sometimes I remark to things that were very outstanding words that I noticed. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Sally Race, for the wonderful description. And with this, I hand over the charge back to our Toastmaster, Victor Irving Jenkins.
Hey, thank you very much. I give you a great big round of applause. Fabulous, fabulous performance. We will move on to the next portion of our meeting, which is a role that's peculiar to leaders worldwide. It's called a master leader. But even though it's a role that's peculiar to leaders worldwide, it's still subject to the timing constraints that every other speech is subject to. And in this case, it's 1 to 3 minutes. Will the timer do us a favor and tell us what he's going to do with the colors during this portion of the speech?
Yeah, on the 1 to 1.5, actually, on Kelly's speech, the 1 to 3 minutes. At 1 minute, I'll show the green. At 2 minutes, the yellow. And at 3 minutes, the red. And then she would have 15 seconds to wrap it up. Back to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Now, Carrie, I want to caution you, be sure and pin the timer because
I got him.
Because the proper way to give a talk is to look into the camera. And if you don't have that timer pin, there's no telling when you're going to be able to finish. But let's move on and get you in the front of these folks. Let's say just a little bit about you, Carrie. Carrie is the author of Black, Blind, and Female, and a contributing author to the best-selling ebook, Village Pearls, Spiritual Practices to Uplift Your Soul, and the #1 Amazon bestseller, Heal Thyself. She is also the creator, producer, and performer of a one-woman show, Somebody Else's Child, 3 Cheers, and From Garbage to Gold. Carrie has presented to and entertained audiences and VIPs at sold-out events all around Northern California. She is the subject and star of the documentary Gifted Messenger. Carrie was the featured speaker for Sexual Assault Awareness Month at Santa Clara University. Ladies and gentlemen, with a lot of glee and a lot of zeal, help me welcome Carrie Lynn Kelly. Welcome, Carrie.
Thank you. Thank you so much. My quote today comes from Keith Ellison. I don't know if he's the originator of this quote, but he's the person that I heard say it. The quote is, "Nobody can do everything, but everybody can do something." Now, I picked that quote today because just like he's dealing with I will call it an epidemic of police brutality, he had to put together the team of prosecution for this one trial. But where that quote comes from is that even though this is one trial and one verdict, it's not enough. It's just the beginning. So the way that quote works for me and what I do is that if I am a child abuse awareness advocate, there is a lot of work to do. I can't do everything, but I can ask everybody to do one thing. And during the course of my speech, you will see where this quote fits in. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you for that leadership moment. And as it turns out, Kelly is also our keynote speaker today. So we are in for a phenomenal presentation from somebody who has set the bar really high by what she's done so far. Her speech, her keynote speech is going to be 13 to 15 minutes. Is there noise in the background? Is that just distractions? So I shan't be distracted. Mr. Timer, would you please give us the timing constraints for the 13 to 15 minute talk that Carrie is about to give?
Yeah, hi, okay. At 13 minutes, I will show the green. At 14 minutes, the yellow. And at 15 minutes, the red. And you will have 30 seconds to wrap it up.
Thank you very much, Mr. Timer. We appreciate you. We appreciate you very much. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we welcome our keynote speaker of the evening, giving a talk entitled The Starfish and the Hand. Help me welcome once again, Carrie Lynn Kelly. Let's give it up for Carrie. Warm Leaders Worldwide welcome.
Thank you so much. Picture yourself walking along the beach, and you see two people across this wide expanse full of starfish that have washed up all along the shore. You can hear the conversation with these two people. We'll call them two women. One woman is picking up a starfish and throwing it back in the ocean, one by one, picking up a starfish, throwing it back in the ocean. The other woman is looking all exasperated and overwhelmed. Just, there's too many starfish. We'll never get them all back in the ocean. Nothing we do is going to matter. They're all just going to die. There's just way too much work. It'll never get all done. It won't matter. The other woman just picks up another starfish, throws it into the ocean, and she says, it'll matter to that one. That story showed up in my life when I was walking on the beach one day, trying to come up with a chapter for this book that I was writing. And it was all about the past. I didn't want to face my past. I didn't want to deal with my past in the book, because in order for me to write about it, I have to go back and kind of like relive it. So while I was walking on the beach and looking for inspiration and looking for the courage, a woman passes by me. She tells me, I just put another starfish back in the ocean. And that story, when she said that, it reminded me of the story of the starfish. So when I look at statistics for child abuse, 1 in 7 children in the past year has experienced abuse or neglect. 1 in 7. If you know 7 children, if you have 7 children in your life that you know of, consider one of them has experienced neglect or abuse in the last year. 76% of abusers are the parent of the child that they are abusing. 76% of parents are the abusers of those children. So 1 in 7 and 76% of the children that are being abused are by their parent, their trusted parent. When I think of these statistics, it reminds me of the seashore full of starfish. And on a good day, I am one of those. I'm the woman who is throwing the starfish back in the ocean, one by one, starfish by starfish, one by one. On a bad day, I'm the one that's overwhelmed and I'm feeling like nothing I say or do will matter because there's too much abuse to be handled. There's not enough time. I don't have enough energy. I don't have enough reach. I don't have enough work. There's nothing that I can write as many books as I want. I can have as many shows as I want. I can have as many resources as I want. But it's never going to be enough. It's never going to be enough. And why am I even bothering? Why am I even bothering? Why do I even care? And right when I'm in that moment, it never fails. It never fails. I will get a phone call from somebody who says, you know, I thought about your fill in the blank speech, the book, your show, and I think that there might be somebody that needs some help because there's some child abuse going on. So I thought about you and I thought I should call you. Or I came by because I wanted to talk to you about what I can do. What do you think I should do? That's when the work, the show, the book, the speech, that's when it matters. Excuse me, I was on the phone with a person one day talking about the starfish. And while I was having this conversation, I had this very realistic visualization where a star showed up on the beach and then my body was superimposed over that star. So consider a 5-pointed star, and then there's my head in the top of the star, my arms at the 2 sides of the star, and my legs at the 2 bottom points of the star. And there's this giant hand that picks up that star that is me. And in my ear, I hear this voice, this one mattered to me. And I get tossed back in the ocean. I consider the ocean to the starfish as the nurturing environment for children. When a starfish is in the ocean, everything is in the ocean that meets that starfish's needs. When a child is in a nurturing environment, able to thrive without the abuse, they are available to grow up and pick up another starfish and return them into another nurturing environment. So I'm on the beach and I come up with the chapter, and it's all about living resiliently, because my story starts when my birth mother gave me up to social services when I was 3 days old. She did not give me a name. I was adopted the first time into a family where I was 14 months old, and my new mother decided that I did not like her because every time she came near me, I would cry. In her frustration, she shook me. And while she is shaking me, she smacked my head so hard that fluid built up on my brain, and I didn't get medical attention for 10 whole days. As a result of that incident, I lost some of my eyesight. My running joke now is that I have enough eyesight to get in trouble, but not enough to get a driver's license. And I do have a 7-minute Toastmaster speech for the humorous contest about talking the DMV into giving me a driver's license because I can drive just as bad as some of the people with normal eyesight can drive. It's a whole speech about I can drive just as bad with my one good eye. So I was returned to foster care after this incident. And at 4 years old, I was adopted into a new family. My new family is driving me away. While they're driving me away from the foster home that I have been in since I was about 2, I'm being separated from the only family that I know, and I'm very upset about it. And I'm crying, crying my eyes out. I'm 4 years old and I'm crying my eyes out. My new mother turns around from the front seat and looks at me, points her finger at me, and says, "You shut up all that noise." That was the beginning of me shutting down my feelings and my emotions. This new family is where I would stay and experience abuse of all kinds of levels: sexual, emotional, verbal, physical. And I'm also coming to this family with a disability, being legally blind. My new mother says things to me like, "You ought to be grateful anybody adopted you at all, because nobody else would have wanted a half blind, ugly, stupid, good for nothing child." She doesn't believe what she can see when the teenage boys are grooming me under her nose. She doesn't pay attention to her husband creeping into my room in the wee hours of the night. She hears that and she decides that instead of calling police or authorities, she's going to call other people and discuss it as if it's the latest gossip. So now you have all these people who she gets to tell about her husband in her 12-year-old daughter's bedroom, and none of them say anything. This is what makes me so passionate about when you see something, say something. When you know something, do something. Keith Ellison said, "Nobody can do everything, but everybody can do something." If one person who got the phone call from my mother decided to do something, my life would look a lot different. If one person in those public spaces where she yelled at me and pointed her finger at me and made me feel less than would have said something, my life would be different. I am resilient. I know I'm resilient now because I survived shaken baby syndrome and a traumatic brain injury all at the same time when I was less than 2 years old. I was created for this work. I am what resilience looks like. I didn't get caught up in a lot of the things that people who suffer from childhood abuse can suffer from, such as multiple children from different parents, drug, alcohol abuse, um, promiscuity, prostitution. And it's not like I have any specialty, it's just that divine intervention kept me safe and sane because I could have been any one of those things. So it's my job today to share my story as far and as wide as I possibly can. And I want to give you the link so that you can see the last show that I did. It was called From Garbage to Gold. And I want to share it with you, and I want you to share it and share it and share it and share it. That's the way I'm going to tell my story so that that starfish matters to me. Thank you.
Wow. Wow, Carrie. You are truly the poster child for resilience. You are absolutely a resilient being and human from all that you've gone through. And I know that you have some lovely grandchildren that you also are working for, and you've got a new one coming in on the way. And you, oh, to hear your story is so heart-wrenching. But to hear your call to action, that is most important, because we can't do everything, but we can all do something. And so I want to make sure you got the link in the chat so we can see your last performance. And then I'm going to facilitate for 5 minutes. I'm going to facilitate the Q&A with the audience. So if you have any questions, if you have any comments, go ahead and put them in the chat and I will read them to Carrie. I know we've got a few coming on. I'm so excited. But first, I'd like you to share a little bit about your grandbabies.
So
oh, look at your face.
About,
you light up.
So about 5 years ago, my husband's son came to live with us with his three little girls. At the time they came to live with us, the oldest one was 8, the middle one was 4, and the baby was 6 weeks old. The baby, I was so fascinated by her. And I couldn't stand to hear her cry, so I spoiled that child rotten. She's 5 going on 35 now because of me spoiling her.
Beautiful.
And there's another baby on the way. It's going to be a little boy. He's coming in around August, either late July or August.
Oh,
so I get to watch this one from the very beginning. I haven't felt him kick yet. He never kicks when I put my hand on their tummy. So
that's
I'm
great.
waiting for that. I'm waiting for that. So
that's great. So we have a lot of comments and questions for you. Ready for them?
Yes.
Okay. Rosalind says, we love you. We love you. Just want to let that resound. We're all on your team.
I received that. Thank you.
And Deanna said, that's so bad, the abuse. You should call the police. But you know, when she's a baby, she couldn't protect herself with the police. Rosalind also says, we all benefit from your talk. Thanks, you are the best and you're doing your best. And Linda Berteau says, I'm so sorry you experienced these things, Carrie. Your resilience is helping so many others. I'm so glad to call you a friend. I say yes to do what I can to help shed light on the situation and help a child or an adult who is suffering and who has suffered this abuse in the past. That's from Linda Berteau. And Kathleen Pill says, it's so healing the way you are so completely here with us, calling us to be here. And Barbara Mariano says, Carrie, how did your foster family respond to you coming out and sharing your story? God bless you.
Well, most of them didn't, they have nothing to say. The parents are both gone. There is aunties and cousins that I got to ask questions to, like, why didn't they say anything? Why didn't they speak up? And, I got a lot of hand wringing, foot shifting, excuse making, which is the other thing that drives me. I'm like, I don't want that for some other child. I don't want another child to grow up and look some of those people in the eye, and all they're going to get is hand wringing, foot shifting, excuse making. I want them to have resources. That's why on my show at the Playbill always has phone numbers and resources on it, because I will not let someone leave my show without a resource. So they can never say, I didn't know who to call, I didn't know what to do. They can never say that after they've been to my show.
Beautiful, beautiful. And Tala bin Hamid says, how did you find it in you to be positive and proactive after all of this? What was your silver lining?
Once I was pretty old once I realized I survived shaken baby syndrome and a traumatic head injury. I didn't know how I lost my eyesight originally. I had different stories about it. But when I went to social services and got my medical records and realized that 14 months old, 14 months old, I am a survivor of traumatic brain injury and shaken baby syndrome. I realized that I was something different. I was like, okay, if I survived all that and I got this far in this life, I have something to do. And what I came up with is telling my story, because I don't have a college degree. I don't have all this other stuff, but all I have is my story of survival. And if I can do it, if I can tell it, if I can share it from a place of power and not a place of victimhood, then it will matter. And it will inspire other people, somebody that can do something.
Wow. Wow. And Deanna says, I pray for you.
Please
and then
do.
I have please, yes. And pray for all those 2 million children that you need to reach and take from harm's way. So there's a lot of questions left, and you can go over the chat afterward. You can save the chat and go over it afterward. But these two are really combined. It says, so many people talk about forgiving others to allow one to heal faster. Have you fully forgiven those who have hurt you? And how do you guide others to do the same? And that goes with this one. That was with Patricia Mensah-Larke. And the other one is from our guest, Giatra. And she says, can you elaborate on the divine intervention that you spoke about? And I think those two to go together. So the forgiveness and divine intervention.
Okay, so let me tell about the divine intervention. I think what I call them invisible breaks, where I can go so far and I can't go any further. For example, in my teenage years, I did stupid things, jumping in cars with folks I barely knew, going any place, and God knows where I could have ended up, right? There's a thing with my nose. If it doesn't smell right, I can't eat it or drink it. So, people make a drink hat, you hear about stories about that. And then I can't stand needles. So that took a lot of drugs off of the list of things to do. And as for forgiveness, my definition of forgiveness is for me to choose to hurt and suffer less, even though I am wounded. So when I feel like I'm suffering, I have to find a way that makes me feel better. What is it that I can do right now in the moment that makes me feel better? Because the people that did whatever they did are not losing any sleep. They're not missing any life. And I don't need to bring them into my process of whatever it takes for me to feel better.
That's so great. Thank you so much, Carrie. Your story is so important. Yes, big round of applause. Open your mics and give a big round of applause. Woo! Woo! And a standing ovation virtually.
Awesome. We love you, baby. You're here for a reason. God
Thank
loves
you,
you, baby.
Carrie.
You are
Thank you.
incredible.
Carrie.
Yes,
Thank
definitely.
you. Thank you so much.
Can't
You're
wait to see that
awesome.
link, and I hope you'll send it out on email so we can all share it with the world, baby. You are amazing. God brought you on this world for a purpose, and you're here serving it. My eyes are filled with tears.
Thank you.
Yeah, if you could post it there, that would be great. And then also send me an email and I'll make sure Swarna gets that to put in our next email.
Okay, yeah, because I don't know how
Great
to do
job,
it.
Carrie.
I
Great job.
don't know how to do it in the chat right now because it's a
Okay, I'll just send it out in email and everyone will
Okay.
get it. Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Thank
it's
you,
so
thank you, thank you.
important. Thank you so much, Carrie. You're so brave and courageous. And I love that you are here at Leaders Worldwide to move your vision forward and to get us all to help you. Because we can't go. What is the old proverb, the African proverb? If you want to go far, go alone. And if you want to go,
Rosalind, turn off your other device, please. Thank you.
if you want to go far, go. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And we are with you, Carrie.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, everyone. We are well on time, and that was a time well spent in our theme this meeting of Child Abuse Prevention Month. At this time, we are going to take a 5-minute break. Who's ever doing the recording, you can start recording for the next 5 minutes, and we will return here at this.
Let our Toastmaster know once it's all complete.
They are all gone.
Okay, great. Mr. Toastmaster, we're ready. Back to you.
You're muted, Victor.
How many of you know how embarrassing that is? That's by a show of hands. How many people? Okay. All right. Moving on to the next item on our agenda, we're going to hear from the evaluator for our first speaker. The evaluator is going to tell us some valuable information to help us better enjoy the speech. And according to the agenda, the evaluator for speaker number 1 is Teresa Helen Cherry. So Teresa Helen Cherry, will you please tell us about Linda Patton's speech?
You're muted.
It's contagious.
Well, something's wrong, Teresa.
All right, how's
There you go.
that?
That's better.
Sorry.
Okay.
Rewind. It is my pleasure and honor today to be evaluating Kimmy Avery. And
Sorry, we had an agenda change.
all right,
That wasn't, we didn't go over at the beginning. Toastmaster, can you?
And Victor, you have my bio, correct?
Yes, I do have your bio.
Thank you.
And can you let,
And Teresa, I sent you the evaluation form.
The bio doesn't talk
Okay.
about the project and the objectives.
do you have that, Teresa, now?
the
Because it's going
yes,
to be Linda instead of
Okay.
Kimmy. She is under a construction of a kitchen, and so she couldn't come.
in any case, it will be my pleasure and honor to evaluate Linda Patton. And I presume that you as Toastmaster have the introduction.
Yes, I
So-
do have the introduction. Just tell us the project and the speech title.
Okay. That, of course, is not what I am prepared to do.
Okay,
So I will
the-
make up. Go,
Um,
go, Linda.
The project is level 4 motivation strategies, motivating others. And the purpose is for the member to practice the skills needed to motivate team members through the completion of a project. The purpose of the speech is for the member to share some aspect of his or her experience motivating team members through the commission of a project. Does that help?
Right, and this is a 5 to 7 minute speech, is it?
It is yes, it is 5 to 7 minute speech.
Will the timer please go over the constraints for a 5 to 7 minute speech?
Yes, at 5 minutes, I will show the green. At 6 minutes, the yellow. 7 minutes, the red. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you ever so much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for bearing with us. Our next speaker is Linda Patton. Linda Patton, a leadership trainer and mentor, joined Toastmasters in December of 2019. Since then, she has skyrocketed into speaking and leadership. She has completed the Triple Crown in 2019 and 2020, and in 2020 through 2021. Linda was awarded the OATM in 2019 and 2020 and 2020 to 2021, and will be awarded her DTM in July 2021. She has been named the District Finance Officer for 2020 through 2021 and holds the secretary role in the club called Heart to Heart. She presently lives in Walnut Creek, California. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give her a rousing welcome. Give Linda Patton as she comes in and gives us speech number 1.
So you think you can motivate me, huh? Well, let me tell you, you can't motivate Jack. Motivating others. I'm going to talk to you about motivating others from 3 different perspectives. The first is the military/corporate perspective. The second is the entrepreneurial perspective. And the third is the confluential perspective of motivation. It's 1970. The Vietnam War is raging. Protests are breaking out all over the country. My boyfriend was killed in a helicopter crash, and I was joining the US Army. Telling his mom was one of the most difficult things I had to do, and yet I was convinced that I needed to become an officer and to finish the work that he had started. I had to lead. What I learned of the military was command. And it's very clear how the military motivates, by command. In basic, commands were given continuously, over and over and over again, until it was just second nature to move when the command was given. I also learned that commands are a 2-step process. The first step is the preparatory command. For example, battalion. The second step is the command itself, attention. As the parade field adjutant, I looked across a parade field of 2,300 women. And when I said those words, I watched them move as one. Is that motivation or is it command? Definitely, they had no alternative but to move. I like to say that firefighters and police officers also use command in that same way, and in some respects for the same reason. They are motivating people to get to a safe location. Can you imagine being on the 13th floor of a building and the fire is above you and it's raging down in the building, the firefighter says, "We're going that way. It's the best staircase. Let's go." And you have 3 or 4 people standing over here who say, "No, I don't think so. I think I'm motivated to go that way. It's a better staircase. And I think I like it better. It's cleaner and it has a little bit of a breeze." And the firefighter goes, "Yeah, it has a breeze. It's bringing the fire upstairs. We go this way." Command motivates through the words it says, not because the person wants to do what you've asked them to do. They do it because it's become ingrained in them that this is how I react when someone commands me. Even working with teams as a lieutenant, they looked to me for the command. We didn't necessarily sit around a table and say, "Okay, you're going to do this and you're going to do." No, that didn't happen when I was in the military. It happens more now in the planning phases that they do get input from everyone before they set the final movement. So command, you can't motivate anyone other than by the sound of your voice and the words that you say. Do they want to do it? Not necessarily, but they know they have to. In the entrepreneurial world, when I stepped out of both corporate and the military, I went into the entrepreneurial world and I moved to the other side. I swung the pendulum 180 degrees in the other direction. And I became everyone's friend. I was using influence to the nth degree. I wanted to know everything about the people who worked for me. I wanted to know their visions, their desires, their goals, their family, their friends. What did they love? What did they hate? And they wanted to know the same thing from me. So I shared too much. And in that case, again, I wasn't motivating them. They were motivating me. They found out what I wanted and made sure that they could give that to me so that I would do what they wanted me to do. And that wasn't right either. So what's the answer to this? Well, I was extremely resilient and I looked at what's the middle. And the middle is the combination of command with influence, confluence. And what it does is to find out what motivates you. In other words, motivation is internal to the person. It's not external. You as the leader, you as the boss, you as the mom have to find out from your children, the people who work with you, the people in Toastmasters, what is it that motivates them? What gets them excited? What sets them up to want to be fabulous? I can tell you that Cynthia Stott is very good at uncovering what motivates people in this club. And she makes sure that those things happen for you. How do you think I joined Toastmasters in the first place? She dangled this carrot and it was motivational for me to step into it. Then she dangled another carrot and said, "I think you need to be a district officer so you can get your DTM." And I did it. She found out what was important to me and how I could be motivated to step into roles that normally I would have said, no way, not going to do that. I don't know who you think you are. When you're motivating others, you have to be savvy. You have to listen to what your people are saying, and then you have to make it happen for them. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you ever so much. Will the timer please allow 1 minute on the clock for us to be silent, beginning now, and let me know when it's over.
Time's up.
Thank you ever so much. And our next speaker is going to be evaluated by Rosalind Kahn. Rosalind, will you please give us the credentials, the project, and pertinent information about our next speaker?
Yes, our next speaker is going to be speaking on her first Distinguished Toastmaster first speech. And the purpose of this module or this speech is to introduce his or her plan. They're going to deliver a well-organized, well-executed about their plan to complete the project of his or her design. They're going to speak about the entire project or an aspect. They should strive to be exemplary on every evaluation and responsible for, and their talk is going to be titled, "Do you want to join me?" So please, let's give a 5 to 7 minute speech. Let's welcome Miss Patricia. Woo-hoo-hoo, Patricia Mensah.
Okay, Mr. Timer, will you tell us the constraints again for a 5 to 7 minute speech?
Yes. At 5 minutes, I will show the green, 6 minutes, the yellow, and 7 minutes, the red. And I guess you probably need to pin me to your screen so you can see the timer.
That's absolutely right. Patricia is the founder of Resource Horizon, a startup management and training consultancy, which sponsored the corporate club Resource Horizon Toastmasters. She hosts the Resource Horizon chat room series on her YouTube channel to inspire her audience through the experiences of her guests. She is the current VPE of Resource Horizon Toastmasters Club and Charter Vice President of Membership of One Country, One World Advanced Toastmasters, and a charter member of Leadership Worldwide. Patricia is a 2-time self-published author and the first female division director for Ghana Toastmasters. Ladies and gentlemen, she's an administrator and a human resource professional married with 2 daughters. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome to give her talk, Patricia, I want to say her name, Patricia Mensah-Larkai. Patricia, feel free to tell me if I said your name properly so nobody else will make the mistake that I did. Go on, Patricia.
Yes, you did. Thank you very much. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. I have just shared in the chat room a link, and I would love for you to click on the link and let us know what comes to your mind in terms of what are some of your hobbies. What do you do to relax or unwind? And as you think about some of the things that you do to relax and unwind, I want to take you back into time. I believe several years ago, we were all toddling or crawling, learning to jog or walk or run around either our homes or schools. We would look for little things to play with. In my neck of the woods, it could be sitting in the sand, looking for stones, looking for insects that at the time you didn't even know was harmful. But some of these things that we took to as kids were termed our pastimes. They were the things that would keep you away from mom while she's cooking in the kitchen to avoid getting burnt. What about in school? In our classrooms, you would find people that were really noisy, that would get everybody else into trouble when the teachers would leave the class even for seconds. But there are others who would be bent reading a novel or two, and you would have cliques passing around books, seeing who has read the most at the end of the week. All of these things are things that we do to relax, unwind, things that will carry us from one location to the other. While I was growing up, my dad, who used to be a military officer, well, now he's resting somewhere in heaven, would buy me books written by Daniel Steele or sometimes the John Grishams. So I found myself in between being a detective or just looking around the world, sailing around the world, oceans from one continent to the other, just living life through these books. I was never one who loved being in the kitchen, though my elder sister would love to try her hands on different recipes. Christmas time, we would find the aroma in the house just changing hour after hour when something comes out of the oven or off the hot pot. This is something I thought was for only kids until I joined British American Tobacco as a staff member, when I had to be part of an ad hoc project to get staff members something that they could go to play that is like a game session in the office. When I started asking, why do we need a soccer table? Or why do we have to look for a basketball hoop in the office? One of my colleagues mentioned, over here, we work hard and we party hard. It didn't quite sink in until the volumes of the work started piling up, and I understood why it was important for us to sometimes simply walk out of the office and go stand by those soccer tables and try to push that little ball around. Fellow Toastmasters, some of you may have experienced lockdown. What has that done to you? Mentally, emotionally? Over here, we used to tease ourselves of how the men no longer have an excuse to go join the boys to watch a soccer ball somewhere when they've got DSTV right at home. Sometimes we just need a place where we can lose ourselves and the moment and take our minds off what is stressing us or what may be causing us an emotional toil. And therefore, when it came to my third DTM project, I thought this year has been such a tough year. Talk about work-life balance. Talk about screen time and off-screen time. Oh yes, talk about the several moments I have to disappoint Cynthia because I was just too tired and I was virtually jet lagged to hop on another Zoom call. But I thought, just like so many out there, people would love to relax, unwind, and learn a couple of things that people around the world would be doing to de-stress. And that is why my project is about Toastmasters Wanna Have Fun. Yes, it was Ralph Smedley who says, we learn best in the moments of fun. And that is why when I sent out this link a couple of weeks ago, asking for role players, I wasn't too surprised because like you, a lot of them signaled the importance or the relevance to join in such an event. And I want to show you, currently 62 people are interested in being part of this fun day. I don't know if I'm going to see you in the Zoom room on the 12th of June, 2021. I want to call it Toastmasters Just Want to Have Fun. It's like you running into the rain after a long haul of dry weather, what we call Hamatan here in Ghana. And then you feel that cool breeze and the smell of that lots of drops of water in the sand, and you don't care about the clothes that you're in, you just want to go and dance in the rain. I want this project to not simply focus on giving speeches or being conscious about being evaluated, but I want you to hop on the Zoom call on the 12th of June, 2021, to either be part of those who want to share a recipe with us, maybe grandma's favorite soup. You want to listen to others as they share their own stories. Perhaps that book that you've been reading told you something that has changed your life and you want to share that lovely page with us. Or you just want to sing along, like singing in the rain. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day. I look forward
Thank
to
you.
having you
Thank you
all on
very
board.
much. Will the timer please block off 1 minute of silence and let me know when it's over, please. Thank you very much, Mr. Timer. Our meeting theme has been Child Prevention of Child Abuse Month. And moving on to the next portion of our meeting now, the evaluator phase of our meeting. This is going to be moderated by our general evaluator. So please help me welcome the general evaluator to the lectern or to the camera or taking over the meeting, however you'd like to classify it. And the general evaluator is none other than Emmanuel Ojewumi. And if I said your name wrong, you just
Nope.
tell me again.
That's actually
I'm
bin
gonna be the
Hamid.
table topics.
That's Tala bin Hamid is the general evaluator.
Okay, so one more trick.
Was that in the agenda?
No, table topics.
I've been
Table
tricked.
topics were next.
I've been tricked before. Table topics master, take it away.
Yes. Okay.
Thank you, Victor. Wow. So it's great to be back at Leaders Worldwide. It's always home to be anytime, any day. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to one of the most exciting time of a Toastmasters meeting. And this is where, if you are coming for the first time and you have not had the privilege of speaking, this is show time. So buckle your seatbelts and let's enjoy the ride. The table topic segment is where members and guests have the privilege of speaking at the top, which means that in 1 to 2 minutes, you will express yourself in a speech format, opening, body, and closing on an impromptu topic, which I'm going to give to you once you volunteer. So ladies and gentlemen, please, can I have volunteers in the room? If you want to speak, please raise up your hand or indicate in the chat box. So take it away. Let's have you volunteers for table topics. Okay, I can see Gayatri. Oh, sorry if I murdered the name. I'm sorry. Okay, Gayatri, yes. Okay. Can I have more volunteers, please?
Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible. Fantastic.
Thank you.
Did I speak your name well?
Yes, you said it well, Gayatri.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, so Gayatri, we are speaking about child abuse, child neglect, and table topics is structured around that. So we have 1 to 5 questions. That's number 1 to number 5. Can you select your lucky number?
3.
Okay, number 3. Now listen. Can you share an experience in which you were sensitive to a child's needs or feelings? Let me come again. Can you provide an experience in which you were very sensitive to a child's needs or feelings? And how did that help you and the child?
Thank you so much for that wonderful topic, Mr. Table Topics Master. In my entire life, it was only for about 2 months that I got an opportunity to teach high school students. Age group 12 to 14. This was 8th standard. everybody in the class was extremely energetic, barring one boy. This one boy was constantly neglected, and not simply neglected. He was considered as a bully, and because he was considered as a bully, everyone bullied him. I was a teacher. I was teaching social studies. One of the girls once came to me and, on the condition of anonymity, made a complaint. She said that this particular boy teases us. I said, us meaning? She said, girls. I said, what does he tease? No, ma'am, when we have our periods. Now, this was the time that these girls were having periods for the first time. And this boy used to tease them about having periods. I thought about what to do. In past, whenever this boy had done something wrong or behaved abnormally or something out of the way, principal used to beat him, his father used to beat him, so much that he had marks of the beatings on his back. And his father took pride in showing those marks to everybody. Finally, I took him aside and I asked him, why do you tease them? Do you know what periods mean? Technically, these students were supposed to be taught about the physical anatomy of man and woman in 7th standard. The teacher was too embarrassed to teach, so she omitted the entire topic and there was not a single question in exam paper about it. Finally, I decided to teach him that anatomy. And when I taught him that, he said, you are lying. I was like, do you really think I'm lying? He said, yes. Then finally, I showed him all the diagrams, which is when he went and apologized to all the girls. And after that day, he not only apologized to that girls, but he made sure that nobody ever troubled these girls. He became their protector. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for that amazing speech by Gayatri. Thank you, thank you. That was wonderful. Well delivered, well structured. And we have another volunteer today for the table topics. I'm waiting.
I will. Rosalind will. Rosalind loves to talk.
Oh, Rosalind. Okay, thank you very much, Rosalind. Fantastic. Rosalind, we have 5 questions, but number 3, fortunately, was taken by Gayatri. So you have number 1, number 2, number 4, number 5. Which one do you go for?
I'm the 5th child out of 7, so number 5 is my lucky number.
Okay. Listen, globally, it is estimated that up to 1 billion children between the ages of 2 and 17 have experienced physical, sexual, or emotional violence or neglect. Now, if a child in your neighborhood walks up to you and says, Rosalind, I have been abused by my sibling, what will be your immediate reaction? You have 2 to 3 minutes.
Well, my immediate reaction would be to express my own dear sympathy at the wrongdoing that was done to this individual and human being, and to let them know that I'm so grateful that they have shared this with me, and I want to help them. And I would make the call with them to a center that they could get the help that they need. And this situation isn't strange to me. I have a unique intuition. When I look in someone's face, I can tell by their demeanor and their expression. And I look at them in the face and I say, can I ask you a question? Were you abused before? And they say, yes. And I said, there's something that told me this. Have you gotten the help that you need? Have you gotten the resources that are there? Because if you don't take care of them, they will arise in sicknesses and illnesses that will multiply for life. And so I'm going to tell you this one last thing. I'm a teacher in the colleges. I have a webpage. It's called rosalindkhanspeaker.net. And there's phone numbers for all sorts of agencies out there that can help you on any problem that you have. please share that with anyone that you know, because I want them to be helped. And this is a topic that's near and dear to my heart, and that's why I related so much to the speaker today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rosie. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me give a round of applause for that amazing speech and expression of thoughts on this subject. Okay, so we are taking 3 more people, 3 more volunteers. We've had 2 speakers. Can I nominate, or you're going to nominate yourself?
I'm sorry, Emmanuel, we only have time for 1 more, 3 speakers total. Thank you.
Okay, fantastic. Who is the lucky person? 1 more person, lucky
Woohoo!
person. Who is that gonna be? Hi, Teresa.
I'll give it a go.
Fantastic. All right, so number 1, number
Sure, why not?
2, and number 4.
Let's do number 1. It's a prime
Teresa.
number.
Yeah. Teresa, can you share an experience you had in dealing with a difficult child? Can you share an experience you had in dealing with a very difficult child? How did you handle the situation?
Oh my. Thank you very much for that question. I really have to think deeply about having dealt with any difficult child. I tend to empathize with the situation that children find themselves in because they are called upon to be so resilient with many, many challenges just because they're growing up, just because they are experiencing so many new things, whether it's, whether it's new foods, new experiences, new places, new people, always. So I can empathize with their proclivity to become difficult, because sometimes I too, even though I've been around for more decades than one would care to even admit, would like to stomp my foot or become agitated because of a new experience. So difficult children just need more empathy and patience from us, rather than our putting a label on them of saying, this one is really difficult. Thank you for the question.
Ladies and gentlemen, please help me give a round of applause for that amazing speech by Teresa. Difficult children needs more of empathy from us. With that closing words, I would like to let you know that if each one can reach one, if each one can teach one, what a much better world this planet will be. Having said this, I would like to see you at the next table topics. I hand over control back to the Toastmaster of morning. Victor,
Okay.
over to you.
Thank you very much. And it looks like we're doing a pretty good job of keeping on time. And at this moment, finally, moderating the evaluative phase of the meeting, I give you our general evaluator, Talhabin Hamid. And if I still haven't said it right, give it to me again. Let's give him a round of applause.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the day. So, evaluation. We are fond of saying that evaluation is the breakfast of champions. But since it's Ramadan for us, perhaps that's not so appropriate. Perhaps it can be the lunch of champions or the dinner of champions. But one thing is for sure, it surely is nutritious. So without further ado, we will start our journal evaluation session by first by introducing the first evaluator, who is Toastmaster Teresa Helen Cherry. She will be evaluating the first speaker of the day. Over to you, Toastmaster Teresa.
Thank you so much. Yes, today I am evaluating Linda's wonderful presentation about So You Think You Can Motivate Me, which is a fabulous title to start. And you started it with such enthusiasm and punch. You got our attention very, very quickly. It was a beautifully constructed speech and taught me that how to look at motivation and leadership in a somewhat different way, in different classifications of military, entrepreneurial, and confluence. I thought that that was a great way of presenting different styles and the necessity for different styles in different circumstances. I am to evaluate you on clarity. I understood, and all your points were very clear. Your vocal variety was just right on. It's particularly difficult with Zoom to first vary our presentation, and with gestures and eye contact, kind of a whole different discipline, and you've mastered it beautifully. You even got in some gestures, yay, which is really hard on Zoom. It seems most of us do not remember that our hands are usually below the screen. If there is anything that I would encourage you to consider, is perhaps adding more story and more practical explanations or examples to your descriptions of the different motivational and leadership styles. You might even consider adding some reference to the worldwide reactions of leaders and of participants or world population during this pandemic, where some leaders were very dictatorial, some were very laissez-faire, and we needed a lot more confluence during the 2020 pandemic. All in all, beautifully done. And I know the audience completely loved every aspect of it. It certainly shows you are a real pro, and that you may have done this presentation a couple times before. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Teresa, for the wonderful evaluation. Our second evaluator of the day is Rosaline and Khan, and she will be evaluating our second speaker, Patricia Mensah-Larkai. Over to you, Rosaline.
Okay, my name is Rosalind, but it's okay. Well, first and foremost, I want to thank Patricia. Before she even spoke, when I was listening to her bio, I said, I cannot wait to listen to this lady's speech. It was kudos from the top, and she's talking about a project that she wants to go ahead and deliver about how to grow the membership in Toastmasters. I'm going to look at it in the form of a persuasive speech. Like I said, I teach public speaking in the classroom, and we follow a model that's called the motivated sequence. You gather someone's attention, you explain to them a problem, how you're going to solve them, you show them what it's going to look like, and you tell them what to do. Her speech followed this formula from the top. She began by getting our attention and giving this very innocent thing. Hey, what do you enjoy doing? What's fun for you? And you know, we all bought into it. Said, sure, let's go ahead and tell her what we like to do. And as we saw that, we saw our ideas flashed upon this on the screen, which created buy-in. I wonder what this is about. What is she going to go ahead and do next? She then went ahead and explained the problems. Well, you know, many people, you know, in these work industries and the homes and the pandemic, this is what we see that's going on. And she said, well, I've got this idea and other people, I got 67 responses and what came out was this idea. And she showed us this graph and I was like, wow, that's exciting. That's interesting. I want to get involved in that. I want to do that. That looks like really fun. And I'm sure many of you had the same exact feeling, because when we talk about fun, it's so much better than figuring out, what do I need to do today? I was supposed to make a list of who I was supposed to call. I've got to follow up on all those appointments. No, I want to have fun. And her goal, what is the goal? She wants to grow the Toastmaster program. And she's growing the Toastmaster program doing what people love to do. And if you can get people to come out and have fun, that is what it's all about. And so I just want to share a snippet that I shared with her. I follow a lot of what you do and share with my other clubs. And I said, we got to have fun in our group. So our next Toastmaster meeting, it's all about the holidays. We're going to get dressed up in our favorite costumes. All of our speeches are going to be about it. When you see me promoted on LinkedIn, if you want to come and join us, we're about having fun too. So Patricia, thank you for allowing me to share my evaluation. I don't have anything to recommend because you were A from top to bottom, telling us how we're going to grow our Toastmaster program, and having fun is what it's all about. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Rosalind. Amazing insight about the speech structure. Learned a lot from that. The next stage in the journal evaluation session is, of course, the report from our facilitators. And today, our first facilitator was our grammarian and word master, Sally Elizabeth Reyes. Over to you for your report.
Thank you so much. I have to say that Carrie used resilient 4 times, Cynthia 3 times, Cynthia and 1 Teresa, 1 resilient. My favorite words were confluence and proclivity. Thank you. That's all I got today.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Sally. Next, we have the report from our timer, Toastmaster Isaac Ford. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. GE. Okay, the times were Talad Hamid. For the table topics, it was 2 minutes and 29. For Carrie, it was, for the speech was 14 minutes and 56 seconds. And her Q&A was 6:04. Linda speech was 7 minutes, 29 seconds, right under the bell. For Rosalind, table topics, 1 minute and 34 seconds, and evaluation, 2 minutes and 26 seconds. Teresa, table topics was 1 minute and 47 seconds. Evaluation was 2 minutes and 57 seconds. For Patricia, the speech was 7 minutes and 33 seconds. And if I left anyone out, Gayatri, I know I slaughtered your name, sorry about that. 2 minutes and 29 seconds. I think that is the total report for the timers. Back to you, Mr. GE.
Thank you so much, Mr. Timer. And you are the one person instrumental in keeping this meeting on track. So thank you for your services. Now it's my turn to evaluate the meeting in journal. And if I want to evaluate it in one simple phrase, it is, God is going to ask us, what did you do? He's not going to ask us, why didn't you change the world? Why didn't you stop all the abusers? We are just going to answer for ourselves. And as our keynote speaker today so inspiringly said, that nobody can do everything, but everybody can do one thing. So where is our one thing? So this is what this meeting was about today, and the theme was carried beautifully. This is our little bit of sunshine, this Toastmasters that we are contributing to the world, and let us not lose sight of that. So our keynote speaker had stunning imagery to start, about starfishes and hands. Hats off to you. And then your optimism and your call to action was absolutely inspiring. Our prepared speeches, Linda, Patton, again, very vivid imagery. We were right there with you in that field. Then we had, of course, Patricia and not girls, but Toastmasters want to have fun. So very inspiring project, and we really, really need it. All the business portions were taken care of very well. Guests were welcomed very warmly as usual. The meeting started right in time. Perhaps we do not need to repeat the timing structure at the start of every speech. We can save a few precious seconds because in this room, at least, we have sufficiently advanced speakers. But again, that's just a suggestion from my side. As for table topics, one thing that always inspires me in this club is that everybody speaks as if they prepared for the table topics. So I don't know what your secret is. I would surely like to learn it, but hats off once again for the table topic session. It tied beautifully to the theme. And then the evaluations, the precious takeaways from both the evaluations. The first evaluation, excellent insight about gestures. Yes, we lose sight of the fact that our gestures are not visible. So either we make them visible or do something about it. And then, of course, Rosalind, insight about the speech structure. Seriously, you made us see what the speech was all about. So a very inspiring session, and especially the keynote and the question and answers. I bet there wasn't a dry eye in the house after and during and after that session. And congratulations, Toastmaster Carrie, for your positivity, for seeing the silver lining, for lighting your little light. The odds are overwhelming. There's too many abusers. There's too many bad people in this world. There's too much that is wrong. Pick anything up, environment, humanity, politics. There's so much darkness, but all it takes is to light our own light. That is it. We'll be asked for that particular light and not why we did not illuminate the whole world. So I thank all of the speakers. I thank all of the evaluators. Just one improvement area that I could think of. Otherwise, this meeting was close to perfect. Over to you, Mr. Toastmaster of the day.
Back to me. Well, let me see. I do believe I have.
Yeah, I need to hand back the charge to the VP Education. Okay. So yeah.
Don't tease me.
Kathleen, are you ready? Or I can step in. Are you? I can't see her.
Here we go. Here we go. I was just looking for the date for our next afternoon meeting. I think it would be the 10th of May.
Yes.
And okay, so I have really good news for us all that we are going to have just a wonderful automated resource for how to sign up for roles, how to communicate with one another, how to see our records. It's really going to make life streamlined and easy. I will be sending out the email that will connect you with that site, and there will be instructions on it. And Victor Jenkins and I are just drooling, just can't wait to get in hands-on and help you when you want it.
Oceanside for.
And so with that, I want to ask for just 3 little roles. Anybody want to step up for 3 of the roles for May 10th? And the roles would be the Toastmaster. Anybody want to see if they can come close to Victor's performance? And then there's also the general evaluator. And we would like to ask for the grammarian who would come up with the word of the day. It's a kind of a cool role. So let's ask for the Toastmaster first. Who would be the Toastmaster? Anybody want to? Aha! Mr. General Evaluator wants to. Thank you, Talha. Thank you very much. Good going. That was easy. And for the General Evaluator next time, who would like? Diana, I don't know. You have to. Good for you, Talha. I think you have to use language too much to be the general evaluator.
Who is
And
that?
oh, also you need to be a member anyway. So let's ask members.
And I know Jay's doing a presentation, a big presentation that day, so he wouldn't be a good general evaluator, but maybe Patricia? I don't know what your schedule is like. Or Kadisha? Could you be a general evaluator? Okay.
I'm not
Patricia.
sure if I'll be.
What was that? Who said something?
Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you, Patricia.
Just to make sure, this is the exact same time slot as this meeting,
Yes,
right?
exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, finally getting the hang of it.
Yeah. I know.
I know when we have 5 weeks and yeah, it's can be confusing. What about grammarian? Would you be able to do that, Kadisha?
Where
Well,
you
I'm
get
not
to choose the word of the day.
Well,
You get to choose the tonic note word of the day.
I am not sure if I'll be in attendance on that day.
Okay.
I cannot commit right now. Thanks.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay. Okay, Sheena, are you raising your hand? You're mute.
Sally is.
Sally, are you going to do a speech that day?
Sally's doing
I'm
a
not
speech.
sure about that, but I can
Yes.
still be the.
No, you can't be a grammarian. No, not if you're giving a speech. But we want your speech that day.
I hope so.
Yes,
Can I do
Sheena.
that? So I just have to choose a letter, choose a word.
Choose a word and then count the ums and ahs and so's and ands and how many times they gave the word of the day. Yeah. I can talk to you about what that entails. So yeah, let's put Sheena down for that.
Wonderful.
Okay, so we got
Thank
them all
you.
3. Yay!
Thank you.
And I'm so excited about Easy Speak and how that's going to make our jobs easier to get the role players done.
You guys are gonna love this because it's just gonna be way better. So with that, I want to turn the lectern to our president for the warm and wonderful reflections on the day, on the meeting.
Beautiful, beautiful. Now is our time for takeaways and chocolates, virtual chocolates you get if you say a comment or what you took away, or if you have a question, anything you want to say at all. And so I'd like to call on our guests first. Gayatri, would you like to make a comment? What are you taking away with you today?
This was one meeting where each and every speech was power-packed. And I think that table topics were very thoughtfully designed. I simply enjoyed the entire meeting. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you. And would you like a virtual chocolate? There's no sugar, there's no calories. It's just pure delicious.
These days, even the mention of chocolate makes me put on weight. My mother is keeping a watch on what I'm consuming.
So, how about something healthy like broccoli?
I happen to like broccoli, so yeah, I would love broccoli.
Our first virtual broccoli. Here you go. We aim to please at Leaders Worldwide. And who else would like to share something? Another guest or somebody in the breakout room?
I can share. I really enjoyed the meeting, although I was working in the background. I enjoyed every speech. I have to say thanks to Carrie. She was very brave. I love the title of her speech, The Starfish and the Hand. I will surely use it as a motivational speech. She was great. I enjoyed it. I love Linda's speech, everybody's speech, my other Toastmaster who spoke about membership, and the energy that was brought to it with the Toastmaster of the evening, generally Evaluator. Everybody performed their roles great. I will surely be back as usual. So many
Awesome.
come on, members, Cynthia, you don't have to worry.
Thank you, Federica. And we love to have you visit here at Leaders Worldwide. Would you like a virtual chocolate?
Oh, yes, one without sugar. Said it.
Okay, sugar-free virtual chocolate coming your way.
Cynthia, Deanna has her hand up.
Deanna, yes, please unmute your mic.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good. Very great.
Yes, yes. And we love you visiting. And we love that you were a timer for us in the breakout room. Did you enjoy that? Yeah, awesome. Yeah. Would you like a virtual chocolate? Here you go. I had to send a whole box of virtual chocolate. Lovely. I had to send a whole box of virtual chocolates to Taufik Cater because he couldn't come in today because of Ramadan, but I sent it to him to eat after sunset and before sunrise for Ramadan. Great. And anyone else like to share a takeaway? Anyone have a comment about who?
Rosalind and Barbara.
Rosalind. Yes. What's your takeaway?
I just thought it was a beautiful meeting from the job from the start to finish. Everyone had heartfelt things. And I think anybody who attended any part or portion of this meeting will go away a changed person. Truly, thank you so much. And I'm so glad I was able to be here today and contribute.
Me too. Thank you for your contributions and for your feedback and takeaway. I think that's what we really have here is big heart, global heart. So would you like a virtual chocolate?
Yeah, one with caramel in it, nice and chewy. So the dentist
Caramel.
will know.
Here you go. Nice and ooey gooey chocolate.
Yep.
Anyone else? Oh, that was Barbara, right?
Barbara. Mm-hmm.
Barbara Mariano.
Oh, thank you all. All of it was fabulous. I love Carrie's speech. It was incredible, moving. I heard her, I don't know, a few years ago at the beginning, and wow, Toastmasters really works. It was wonderful. And to see her growth, and she just gives me and all of us courage to keep going forward. So I just want to say thanks to everybody. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Barbara. And would you like a virtual chocolate?
I'd like it with nuts and chews in it.
Nuts and chews. Lots of goo and chew. Here you go. Woo! Great. And anyone else want to share? We have time for a couple more shares.
Eva Wren would like to speak.
Wren. She's one of our guests. Great. Eva.
Yes. Hello. I'm from Dallas, Texas. And this is my second time joining this worldwide leaders group. And I think if you have been with the Toastmaster for a few years, so all the regular 5 to 7 minutes of speech, basically you get numb, just like a pandemic. Now everybody started to get numb, they become insensitive to that. But the unique part of this club is the keynote speech. It's prolonged, it's pretty lengthy, but very shocking and outstanding speech for continuously 2 times. I was really deeply touched. I think the keynote speech this club offered, through their suffering, they already inspire us. And through the speaker's vulnerability, they really strengthen us. I think that those 2 points are my taken away from your session that really echo what the Bible taught us. Through the vulnerable, someone else's vulnerability, they really strengthen us, and from someone else's suffering, they really inspire us and bless us. Okay, that's my takeaway, and I truly enjoy this unique club. Thank you.
Beautiful.
Back to you, Session Master.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Eva. And would you like a chocolate?
Yes, and I also prepare my real chocolate.
Oh, dark hazelnut. Oh, there you go.
Thanks.
Here's a virtual one, just because you're so great. Thanks for coming here today. Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you. You want another one, Deanna? Here you go. You can eat all the virtual chocolate you want and you won't even get a stomach ache. Is there anyone else who wants to share? We have time for just one more.
Cassandra.
Cassandra.
I'd like to, first of all, say thank you, Carrie, for sharing with us your experience, and thank you for being so vulnerable. Not only are you a survivor, but you're a thriver. You shared with us your God-given ability to tap into that resource of not only forgiveness, but that spark within you to overcome and thrive. Not just survive, but thrive, to show exactly who you are, no matter what, who you are. So thank you for showing us that part of you, no matter what, that part of you. And the second part I want to say is in our breakout room, we had an awesome speech that was given. And then afterwards, we had a great session in which we talked about the speech and then also just talk in general. And I really enjoyed that part of it. So thanks to the 2 ladies that were in that breakout. And that was Catherine and Andrea. So thank you to both of those ladies.
Awesome. Thank you. And would you like a chocolate?
Oh, sure.
Ooh, here it comes. Woohoo.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you. And yes, our Speechcraft breakout rooms are very special. Yes. They are just amazing, very intimate, and you can really get to know one another at a deeper level.
Yes.
So great. Great. I'm glad you enjoyed it. So for announcements, we have the May 1st, this Saturday, is the District 57 conference from 9:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. Pacific / San Francisco time. And that is going to be marvelous. We have a couple of great keynote speakers. We have the CEO of Toastmasters International, who's going to be coming and speaking, Daniel Rex. We also have one of my favorite world champions of public speaking, Darren LaCroix, and he will be closing out our meeting. And we had a special mystery guest. I'm not allowed to say who he is because of Toastmasters International regulations. So he will be presenting with me winning evaluations. And I'm going to talk about my winning formula that I used on the evaluation contest. So it not only worked at the club and all the way up club, area, division, and district so that I won it. I did it twice because I timed out my first time and had to do a whole other year, and it worked every time. So hope you can make it to that. And any other announcements that we have, Linda?
I don't think so.
Nope.
Nope, not at this point.
Great. And you were awesome today. Your speech was absolutely amazing. And I don't know if I've ever heard your story about how your boyfriend died from the helicopter. Maybe I have, but how you said it today was so poignant. It just really gave me a deep appreciation for your patriotism and for your love of the military and for your dedication to service. And that you even were the one to tell his mother is just, wow, really awesome. Yeah, really awesome. And it was, I learned something new about you in your speech today, and you endeared me to you even more. Thank you so much for your
Thank you,
speech
Cynthia.
and service. And thank you all for joining us here at Leaders Worldwide. Oh, we have a juicy guest next time. He is going to be talking about true beauty. This man could read the menu and change the vibration in the room. He is pure, unconditional love. I can't wait for you to meet him. And we'll see you next week in the evening time. Take care. Bye-bye for now. Bye.